So this week what we're going to be doing is learning how to make a slab, and I'm going to show you two methods on how to roll out a perfect slab, and then I'm going to show you the requirements that you need on your slab. It's going to be actually into a little box, and we're calling this the template box. So let's get started. I have a piece of clay right here, and like I said, there's two ways to do this. This is the way that I usually prefer. You're gonna come over here and get your 2 1/4-inch sticks, and I like to just kind of press this clay down so it's close to 1/4 of an inch. It's sort of getting wet right here, so I'm gonna move it a little bit. And then most of the work is done with the heel of your hand. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get out a rolling pin and you're gonna roll it a little bit. I like this method just because you're really in control. You can pick it up and turn it and then roll it a little bit more. On the slab roller, usually you guys don't have that much control because there's a lot of mechanical stuff you have to move around. But anyways, as long as you are on the sticks, you now have a perfect 1/4-inch stick. So that's rolling it out with the cheap method, a couple of 1/4-inch sticks and a rolling pin. So this right here is a slab roller, and basically it does most of the work for you when you roll it in between these 2 canvases. You can set the level. You have to look here on the side, and you want it also to be at 1/4 of an inch. I made a little red mark on it, and looks like this side needs to come down, and that side looks okay. Actually, no, it doesn't. So we're going to go down to 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Because this, you can't pick it up and turn it unless you keep switching, do like a 1/2 an inch and then take it back out, roll it again at 1/4 of an inch. It's a little bit more tedious to do that. When you put this in, you need to remember that it's only going to stretch in one direction. So if you put it in, and this is a kind of long piece, it's only going to get super long. So if you put it in the long ways against the roller, then you're going to get more of a square or kind of circular piece. I usually make the part against the roller have a little bit of a thinness to it so it can get under there. And then we stick it to the edge of the roller, make sure it's going to be sandwiched in between these. Pull this over. Sometimes you have to give this a little tug right here. And then there's a handle right here. And you can just roll this out. And I usually roll it one direction. And then I will come back and just sort of finish it off. It's probably mostly done. But you can see that it's ended up long, even though I started it against long ways against that. So this is also a 1/4-inch slab, and we're ready to go. All right, so we have our slab done, and what the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a template. So we've made a number of templates for you. I'm going to let you guys figure out what the shapes they're going to become afterwards. And I think that there are 6 different shapes for you to choose from. They are at sets at your table, so feel free to use those. You can change them a little bit in height if you wanted to. And I'm gonna pick, let's see, how about this one? This one right here. Make sure that it fits on my nice slab here, 1/4-inch slab, that's a requirement. And then I'm going to use something that's not going to damage the table, the cloth, that canvas. We want to keep it nice and clean. And so this credit card isn't going to cut it, but it cuts through the clay perfectly. Cut all the way around all the corners, just kind of follow that. The template is laminated so that it won't get wet, hopefully. And you could just follow around. You might need this clay, so kind of save it. You might want to put it in a bag. This is pretty good clay. It definitely needs to be wedged because I just put a bunch of air pockets into it. But we now have a shape that is ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna take it over to the table and show you the next part. So hopefully I've got everything I need here. I put my slab on a board and newspaper so that I could carry it over to my table. You might want to do that too. And what we need to do right now is get this into the shape that it's going to be. So I have I thought I brought a credit card with me. Oh, there it is. I brought a credit card over, and I'm just going to crease where that triangle was in the middle, just a small crease. I'm just going from point to point, and that's going to be my fold line. And I'm going to lift these walls up at the fold line. And then I have to connect it all together. So it's really important that you guys learn to slip and score now. We want to see slipping and scoring happening on this. The corners are not quite there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I have myself a fork, and I put some slip in here. I don't know, I got these at the 99-cent store. We'll see if they work. I can get that off. And I made some slip up. So I'm going to put some slip right here. Not coming out quite the way I want, but we'll see. I don't know, I bought something else as well. So I'm scoring it. I'm going to score this side also. Take this extra slip over here, put it here, and score this side also. And then I'm going to pinch the two of these together. So I really want to seal these corners up on the outside. And then I may even roll a coil or just make sure I'm really well connected on the inside. And I'm going to do that on all three of my corners. So get this one up a little bit more. And score it with my fork. Both edges, and then get a little of this extra slip here, put it down. It's important that you don't, yeah, I'm not liking the way that comes out, but you need that slip in there so that it's the glue that holds it together. So, slip and score. And connect together, and then I'm going to do that for one more side. I connected the corners, but I think I'm going to put, I just took a little piece of clay and rolled it into a tiny little coil, and I think I'm going to put this coil into the corners on the inside, and then just add some extra strength. It helps the corners stay together. So then you can take something, I don't know, maybe the edge of this, maybe, careful your needle tool, it can kind of be sharp. Maybe you want to take your pencil and just kind of rub that coil into the corner. Do that in all the corners that are coming up on this one. So once that you have your box, we're going to hit the other part of the requirements, which is we're going to put all the elements of design that we studied in our PowerPoint onto this. So I just wrote them down so that I know what they are and that I don't forget any. And I'm gonna go ahead and put them on this, but I'm gonna show you, yay for the bell, I'm gonna show you just a couple on this one. Maybe you wanna take a credit card and create some lines, different types of lines. I'm doing some kind of dotted lines. Maybe I want to do like a bee line that shows the direction that a bee might be flying. Not sure that this is the best instrument for it. Maybe I want to switch over here to my little handy dandy short gulf one that opens up that line a little bit better. But I've created some lines. Maybe you want some organic lines. Shape is anything that's flat. So, you know, right here, I could kind of trace the outside of this rectangle. There's my shape. While form is this whole thing, it has 3D-ness to it. So I've got form automatically. Color, I'm going to show you what I did on one that I made earlier. I took out, on this one right here, I took a little circle and pressed it in and made it into a pie. And I'm going to mess with glazes with those different colors there. I've got line here. It also says Miss Olson in it. Shape again, I've got right here, I've got a square with my lines. Color I already talked about, and value will have to come with when I do coloring. I will try and mess with maybe like an orange to a light orange or something like that. Space, I've got some space in here, but I put a little bird on there. He's my form, as well as my whole box here is form. But I made a little hole in the birdhouse that I made for the bird. And so that's another representation of space as well as the inside right here. And then I also took something and created texture. So, you know, get out your stamps. Use your stamps as texture. Could use the side of this here fork. I don't really like that one all that much. Here's the side of, ooh, I like that, of my pencil. Makes a nice hexagon. So get your 7 elements of design on there. Be ready to identify them. The more you have on there, the higher your grade's gonna be. So try and get 3 forms of lines. Try and get several different spaces, things like that. The more the better. That's it. Go to work.